What is your sex ed horror story? One kid in my class asked if you could get STDs from having sex with a chicken. Kind of put him on the spot and was a little suspicious. Someone link that country boys make to picture please. In case you are wondering, in the hypothetical situation where the sexual organs would fit within each other, the list of zoonosis that can affect both avian and hominid hosts are all transmissible through ways other than sex, so you'd already be infected from handling the chicken in the first place. Then again, I'm pretty sure this is how most exotic diseases start. Just don't get any ideas about fucking bats, please. 2020 is already dire enough as it is without Ebola AIDS. It was taught by a Jesuit monk whose English language skills were Latin, and by the end, one-hour class, total, I sometimes couldn't even identify which sex the diagrams were showing. It was all line diagrams. All medical terms, Father Bartoli thought it went well, anyway. I'm reminded of the drawing in the sand scene from the movie Morris. Here is the way Gina, and here the membrum virilis, says the teacher. Morris, looking on dubiously, I don't think I shall ever marry. Teacher hit a girl in the face with a dildo. We did not learn how to put on condoms that year. Come again? My sex ed teacher brought a kid up to the front of the classroom wearing a shirt that had too long sleeves and explained what an uncircumcised penis looked like. To be fair, that would have helped immensely when I was in middle/high school. Listen kids, this is dickhead. More of a lack of sex ed horror story, and thankfully short. A guy who I had a crush on, both of us seniors, pulled me aside one day and asks, so when a girl has her period she just lays an egg in the toilet, right? I'll be honest. I'm not sure if I answered him or just stared at him. Balk. Did you suddenly not have a crush on him anymore? 6th grade sex ed, at the end of the class, the teacher opened the floor for questions. She said we could ask anything as long as it was a serious question. The only question I remember is when a kid, male, asked, "It's okay to have sex with your sister, right?" The teacher stared at him for what felt like a minute and said no. I asked what oral sex was and my teacher said, "You know what sex is? You know what oral means? Figure it out." I did not figure it out. I thought oral only meant oral presentation as in speaking, and figured it was sex where you talked a lot. 6th grade also, as a joke my friend asked the male teacher, "What does cum taste like?" He answered, "Salty." In 6th grade I learned the term popping your cherry from some friends in sex ed class. I went home with this newly found knowledge and accused my older sister of having her cherry popped. She broke out in tears and my mom grounded me for a week. Lol, this reminds me of a story from college. Myself and another friend were older than the typical age. We had a friend in our class who was Muslim and had very strict parents, so even though he was a good guy, he was a bit naive, and his knowledge of street smarts wasn't too great. Well, I guess he was unfamiliar with the term popping cherries. I was eating actual cherries and my buddy made a joke saying, "Look at J_Rath_905 over there, too busy popping cherries." Our younger friend did not exactly know what the term meant. Several days later, he asked our teacher in front of the class, "Hey Johnny, want to come out and party with us tonight? We can go pop some cherries." It was funny as fuck. Almost as funny as convincing him we hired a stripper/escort for him off Backpage for his birthday. When he said his dad wouldn't approve, we said, "Don't worry, she can dance for your dad as well." He was tripping out, thinking this half-naked woman was going to knock on his parents' house that night. What? Popping your cherry mean? 2 interns were teaching us, 7th grade, about HIV, interns, so, you can catch it by oral, vaginal and anal sex. That guy in the back, what about nasal sex? Everybody, shut up, Diego. Interns, well, the worst that could happen is dying by asphyxiation. Jesus, we all hate Diego like what the fuck bro, this isn't that bro Diego. Pretty sure the nose is a mucous membrane too. So it would be just as much a problem. Unintentional sex ed happened for me in 4th grade. In an assignment we had to invent a new town relating to the gold rush. I named it Cape Horn, and I thought I just made a new word, did not know what porn was. My imagination sucks and the town name was similar to a name I recently heard, Cape Horn. We had to give a reason for the name and my unimaginative mind said they didn't know why. A teacher-parent conference later I was confused why they were asking me about the word porn and if I knew what it meant. Zero explanation on their end. So curiosity hits me and I Google porn. That's how my 4th grade teacher introduced me to online pornography and wanking. Edit, my first post/comment that received some attention. Hope it was entertaining or you got a laugh out of it. Currently 25. At first I read this as unintentional sex happened for me in 4th grade, and I was trying to figure out how a school assignment could have that twist. Dramatically the opposite of the intended effect. Brilliant. Well, I didn't think it was a horror story, but it stunned a few people. When I was 5 and my sister was 6 we had a fish tank. One of the fish we had was a pregnant molly we liked quite a bit. Unfortunately she died before giving birth. So my sister, curious creature she is, asked our aunt, a trauma nurse who worked on Life Flight with a passion for teaching, if we could cut open the fish and save the babies. This would eventually lead first to my aunt dissecting the fish for us, then to her explaining reproduction, and ended with a rudimentary version of the talk. My aunt would take every chance she got to have a very graphic and factual discussion about sex and reproduction, so we would always be armed with knowledge and never have anything unknown. But it was in hindsight a bizarre way to get educated on the birds and the bees. That's a very nurse thing to do, smiley face. Were any of the babies still alive? Got it too late. It caused a lot of stress when we found out we were using birth control pills wrong. Did your doctor not explain to you how to take them? My mom's the sex ed teacher. No context needed. Damn, that must have sucked. You in therapy? Pornhub theme plays. My friend's mom bought a sexual reproductive pop-up book. It covered both male and female. So you would open it up and the uterus and fallopian tubes would pop up at your face. You can only imagine the fun we had with that. Is that an open sex ed pop-up book in your pants, or are you happy to see me? 9th grade health with Mr. Lamb. Dude was an absolute gem of a human being, but his voice sounded exactly like Barry White. Like all the time. So anytime he tried to say anything remotely sexual, it sounded like the voiceover for a raunchy R&B song. Which made the freshmen erupt in laughter. Constantly. Poor guy just couldn't get through a lesson for 3 straight weeks. SENSULLERNIN. Sorry for him on those straight weeks. How did the 3 gay weeks go? Mine was basically, if you have sex you're gonna get diseases, get pregnant and die. I was scared to have sex for a long time. Yeah, I don't get why they scare students into not having sex. It's not a bad thing, well it can be, it depends. Did you have the teacher from Mean Girls? A friend of mine almost started puking during sex ed when we were watching a movie about childbirth in class. It wasn't very explicit, but the blood was enough to get him as pale as the wall. Poor dude. In high school biology, we wound up on the subject of sex ed and childbirth. The teacher was astonished we had never been shown a video of birth before. Most of us had gone to a small, rural country school outside of town, and sex ed was the high school nurse coming in and giving us pamphlets and worksheets and talking STDs and periods, but not much about sex or pregnancy. She showed us a video the next day. One of the boys sitting by me I had known since 3rd grade, and he was positively green by the end of the video. I wanted to reach out and check on him when I realized the poor guy was boxed in by girls. We watched the video too, but I can't remember any of the students being too bothered. One guy though didn't realize babies come from the vagina. He was gay, so maybe he didn't think about vaginas much. He was surprised. 9th grade sex ed, teacher got a wooden penis to show how to put on a condom and the condom ripped in front of everyone. And our teacher said, in my 27 years of living, I have never seen a condom rip, and someone in the back of class said, damn, teacher be getting hella bitches, and he legit laughed nervously. Why do you think he was teaching sex ed? Dude needed to be qualified. So you're telling me this teacher got wood in front of the whole class? Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.